everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of Unlucky, a 2016 student film that I was fortunate enough to have sent to me so that I could watch it and review it for my channel by one of the directors of the movie by the name of Buddy Candela. And I thought this movie was actually a whole lot of fun. Before he sent me the movie, I made it abundantly clear to him that when I watched it, if I review the movie, if I didn't like it, I was going to say I didn't like it. I would have been also given him constructive criticism, but I would have told him that I didn't like it, and that is something I'm fortunate enough to not have to say. I found this movie to be a lot of fun. For those of you who haven't seen it, which will be the vast majority of people because it's not a readily available film, hopefully it becomes streamable at some point in the future, and if it ever does, hopefully the director reaches out to me so I can let other people know who watch this video that it's available. But basically what this movie is there's a main character by the name of Sam, and he meets another person, a woman, and he instantly falls for her. Her character's name is Liz. Sorry, I forgot it for a half second there. Her character's name is Liz, and they, in just a moment, there's just the instant chemistry. There's the love at first sight, and throughout the rest of the film, they're both kind of trying to get back to one another, although he seems much more into the idea of finding her than she does him. But she is also very excited when she does get to eventually see him at various points in the film, and it just kind of goes from there, and you get introduced to both of their friends, and you watch as they try to get things done in order to get back to one another. She has to do some project, and then she's looking for a piece of jewelry, and he's out there just doing everything he can to track her down, and they get entangled in all these kind of weird and interesting situations, and you get introduced to a whole bunch of tangential characters that are all very entertaining and interesting. Like there's this groups there that are called the hippie geniuses, and there's two of them in particular, a woman and a man, who we find out relatively quickly are a couple, and you see them and the way that they try to figure out how to get into the mayor's office, to get into his safe, to try to figure out what's in there, which is this other whole part of the story that's kind of, it sounds very tangential and seems like it might be completely, taken apart from the rest of the story, like it's completely uninvolved, but it actually ends up playing a very pivotal role in the film. And then one of the things I thought was really cool about this movie was the writing, because I thought there was all these disparate ideas they were kind of introduced, but by the end of the movie they all came together, and that is definitely a credit to both the writing and the directing, because if and of course the editing, because if any of those elements had fallen apart, they would have felt like you were just having these random things kind of shoved in front of your face, which I feel like in a lot of student films, or even like amateur films or indie films, that would have probably been the case. But I did not feel like that was what happened here at all. I thought it was all kind of brought in by the end of the film. You understood while you were seeing everything you were seeing, and why you were introduced to all these kind of peculiar situations, and they all worked together to make the story come together. I would say for me the biggest strength of this movie, though, by far, were the actors that played the two main characters, and obviously the director in getting the performances out of them and the way they were written. Just basically those two characters and the way they were put together, I thought were great, because they spend a very small amount of time on screen together, but there was a chemistry that you could feel between the two of them, and they both came off like people that you would be, if you met them, you'd be interested in kind of coming back to. There was enough meat on the bone to really feel like it was worth it for both of them to go on this adventure to come together, and I thought that was extremely exceptional, because like I said, this is a student film, so you're not exactly going to have like the Hollywood's best or actors necessarily that have done a whole heck of a lot. And I haven't looked into the filmography or the resume of anybody involved in this film. I just wanted to watch the film and take it on its own merits. But if this movie was put out and I had absolutely no idea that it was a student film, I still think I would have had a lot of fun with it, because I think there was a lot about it that worked. I mean, there's things that I could say that I felt were a little bit off, like, honestly, I'm even kind of struggling to come up with them. Like, there's things about the movie that I would for instance, there is a character that you meet that is called Haggerty Bones, I believe, and he's this kind of he's this character that you really felt like if this film wasn't held back by being a student film, he probably would have been getting high constantly, and he was very kind of over the top, and I thought the actor who played him did a good job. but there was one thing in this movie that happened that is just something that I find extremely frustrating in films, where there's a moment where he has to drink alcohol, and you know, when you drink alcohol, it's like you can tell when somebody's drinking or not. Goes to take the drink, and instead of it looking like he's drinking, it's looking like he's just going. And I, you know, to me, that's just something that just always just drives me nuts. So to those involved in the making of this film, that is one thing I would definitely not do again in the future. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was actually drinking something on the day, but it didn't look like it to me. So if I'm right about that, that is definitely something I would not do again in the future, because for me it just bumps me out of a scene, takes away from the reality of it. So there's little stuff like that. But overall, I just really enjoyed this movie a lot. And I thought the creativity was great. Like, so for instance, the main character, they kind of clearly want him to act high in a scene, and like I said, it's a student film, so it's not like he can get high. So they come up with a way of like zapping his brain to make him. And I thought that was really creative, and I feel like originally in the script that probably wasn't the case, but it was really cool to see how they still got there and how they were thinking on their feet. And just overall, I really enjoyed this movie a great deal. I thought it was very, very well done, and I'd be very interested in seeing more from pretty much everybody involved. Kudos to all of you. That's it for me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Probably most of you haven't seen the film, but just the idea of student films alone, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about me reviewing movies that maybe most people may not be able to see. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will be able to come check out this video. And please, please, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you're new here or you just haven't done it yet. I love talking to people about movies, and I'd love you to be one of them. Other than that, have yourself a good day.